creating geometry from a curve. In this video we're going to refresh our knowledge on this. We first covered this back in the bowling pin when we created the bowling pin from a curve itself. So we'll be converting our curve object to a mesh object. Once we've done that, we can then perform mesh operations on it, and that will become clearer as we go forward. We will choose whether to delete the original curve data if we want to. It's entirely up to you whether you do that or not, but in the challenge ahead we'll probably be keeping it just for reference if nothing else. It's good to have all the data ready there. So let's hop straight on over into Blender. Right, so back over in Blender, I've just reopened my file from working on it earlier, and it appears my base has gone missing, but fear not. The first thing I'm just going to do is get rid of this red border, which is a bit of a distraction at the moment. I'll get rid of that with Control Alt and V. And then let's just move around. It looks like we were looking at it from the camera view a moment ago, and well, we've got another border now. That does happen, so I will do Control Alt and V again to get rid of that. So the camera has a separate border to your main viewport itself. So now we're here, we still can't see our model, and the reason for that is over on the base curve object over here, the Bezier circle, if we click on that, it just comes back again. So it's definitely there, no panics, phew, don't want to have to recreate that. So we just need to convert this now to a mesh object, and we've done that before with the pin when we converted it to a mesh object. And just to remind you, we need to, because I keep mentioning the word object, of course, because it's an object operation, so we're going to have to be in object mode. So I'm going to switch over now, click on object mode, and immediately I'm going to go to object, towards the top, convert to a mesh. So we're converting to a mesh from a curve. There are other things you can convert to as well, but we just want this one here. You could also use the shortcut Alt and C. Now, sometimes you may want to preserve your data, and if we go into the tool shelf before doing anything else and ask to keep the original, it can cause some problems. If we do keep original, it disappears and we end up with a mesh object here that's just a circle, which isn't what we want. So if I now go to the undo history and just go back to toggle edit mode, so just before we did the conversion, so we see we've got curve objects again, and I do the same thing again. I'm just going to use the shortcut key this time, Alt and C, and create a mesh from it. We can see that there, and this time we actually seem to get our mesh object. Now it's a little bit of a quirk with Blender, but if you don't do it in that order, you end up losing your mesh object and just having a circle defined, which isn't too great. So now that we've got that, I've got a little challenge for you guys, just a bit of organisation. I would like you to convert the base into a mesh object. Now, if you've been following along, you'd have already done this, hopefully successfully. I am going to, in the challenge, just reset my model itself and go through it again with you as well. So convert the base into a mesh object, name the new object appropriately, and remember to keep the curve data and make it a child of the new geometry, so it's just nested underneath there. Pause the video now and give that a go. Welcome back, let's hop straight back into Blender. So this is where we got to before, and what I want to do is just run through the process once more. So I'm just going to revert my file back to where it was before. I'm going to just hide these two red borders. Let's zoom into this area. I'm going to go to the Bezier circle. Excellent, so we've got the object selected. I'm going to hop into object mode. I'm going to go Alt and C to convert that to a mesh. Now, of course, we need the operator panel open, and I'm going to click keep original, and of course that means everything disappears, which is very, very irritating. However, if we literally go to our undo history and go back one and do exactly the same thing, again we manage to keep both. So Alt and C, convert to a mesh. We've now got both our base, curves, the the defining curves themselves, and we've also got our base mesh in the outliner. So the final thing to do here is just name these things appropriately. So I'm going to call this base curve, and I will call this one here base outline curve. I think that's an appropriate name to call it. And finally, I'm going to nest this under the mesh object itself, just so it keeps it nice and tidy on our hierarchy here. We'll probably do a bit more tidying later on. I'm just going to call this lamp base, I think. Lamp base. It's a very descriptive name for it, and we will hop now into edit mode on the lamp base itself and make sure that we can select edges and faces, which we can do. Brilliant, that's all done. Feel free to share your progress thus far in the discussions, and I will see you in the next lecture.